Welcome back. You're still watching SA Today. Now, the Lesotho ruling party, the All Basotho Convention, the ABC, has experienced divisions. This after the party's NEC announced that its leader, Tom Thabane, has been suspended for 6 years. Now, to get some clarity on this, I'm now joined by Professor Nqosa Mahao. Thanks so much indeed for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for welcoming me.
All right, so I've got to start with actually assessing your credentials, because at some point your own party expelled you as well, suspended you.
Yes.
So you are the deputy president of the ABC?
Yes, the formal title is deputy leader.
All right.
That's right.
And this is according to a convention that you had earlier in the year where leadership was put forward. And I guess this is where the troubles began in terms of the divisions in the party at the moment.
That's right. That's right.
Take us through that.
Well, what happened is that an elective conference, which according to the Constitution had to happen every 5 years, took place on the 1st and 2nd of February. And we got elected. But the old committee was not amused by the outcome of the elections. And so some folks went to court. And so we kept out of office for something like 5 months, until when on the 12th of June, a panel of 3 judges declared that we had been properly elected.
All right. So this is at the point now that Prime Minister Thabane decided that he wasn't going to abide by that ruling at all.
Yes, the following day, literally, he served us with show cause why you cannot be fired from the party letters. And indeed, 3 days later, we were purportedly expelled.
All right, so where does that leave the party right now? The courts recognize your team's leadership. The Prime Minister says, I am the only leader, and he says, these rebels must stop it because my patience is wearing thin. I'm the only leader of the ABC.
Well, first of all, from the beginning, his actions of purporting to expel us were null and void. And as the executive committee, we proceeded to nullify them, but also went further to apply to the courts to have the purported expulsions nullified by the courts. That case will be heard hopefully on the 22nd of this month or earlier.
All right, so you've suspended Prime Minister Thabane as the party leader, is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
So he's right now, he's not a member of your party?
No, we suspended him as party leader. He remains a member of the party. But there are 2 processes that took place. The process that was led by the National Executive Committee of suspending him. And then we had called a special conference to be assist with dealing with the challenges within the party. The old committee, with the leader, applied to the courts to interdict that conference. Now, the constituencies, 54 of them, we get told, decided to continue with the special conference because constituencies had not been cited in the case. Only the 5 of us had been cited. So as far as they were concerned, they could proceed with the special conference. And that is where they say that they suspended him for 6 months.
All right, so with his suspension in play, does that make you the party leader?
Yes, de facto, yes. De facto, because you can't have a void in any organization. So yes, I'm holding the fort.
All right, so August the 5th, Parliament will resume. You as the party leader, what are you going to be discussed there? On the agenda, according to the Memorandum of Understanding overseen by our President, the only issue really should be about reforms in the country. But are you going to be moving for a vote of no confidence?
Remember, Peter, that I'm not a member of Parliament. but already a motion had been submitted to the Speaker of the National Assembly, which on some very spurious grounds, he decided not to table it for the House to engage a couple of weeks ago. Now, second point is this. Unlike in 2015, there is absolutely nothing in what President Ramaphosa mediated and had signed last week that says, apart from passing the reforms authority legislation, you can discuss other things. So yes, I believe that the motion of no confidence will be tabled and deliberated by the House.
Will this solve the problems of your party? Because at that convention in February, I believe it was, 53 of 84 constituencies, branches voted for this new leadership. That means there's a significant number of people perhaps still behind Mr. Thabane. How will you bring the party together?
Our side has always regretted the divisions that are happening within the party. Remember, this is an artificial problem, a problem that has been imposed on the party by a refusal to accept democracy within the party. We regret it, and we have taken so many initiatives to try to bring the two sides together and consolidate the unity of the party and move on.
But how are you going to do it? Because, you know, we read stories about men in balaclavas attacking party offices in Maseru. I mean, this is the stuff of films.
Indeed, exactly the problem. You do see a party leadership that has lost its sense of direction. This is about democracy. It's not about the use of force. And so it should not have gone that route. But again, it's not the only problem. As we talk, the old leadership has attacked the president of the Court of Appeal. He was suspended barely 2 days after President Ramaphosa, not suspended, served with a letter of show cause why he couldn't be suspended, barely 2 days after President Ramaphosa had been there. This thing is being challenged, so clearly there is something that is very wrong in the governance of the country.
So, are we saying that the end times have come for Prime Minister Thabane, that come next month he's unlikely to be leading the country?
If what we see happening on the landscape is any indicator, this is a regime that is totally alienated. Only the other day you had a massive demonstration by wool and mohair growers, and the following week it was by tertiary students. This week, including today, you have go-slows by the police force. The teachers are also coming in due course. Everybody. And so you have a government that is in serious crisis.
All right, so you talked about yourself being the de facto leader of the party, but there are questions about your own legitimacy. You're supposed to have served 36 months, I believe, in party structures. You didn't do that. So how is it that you could be elected?
Not true, Peter. I served more than 36 months. The Court of Appeal, the highest court in the land, presided over by no less than 3 judges, 2 of them coming from outside the country, found that I had actually served and I qualified to be a candidate. By the way, I was not elected by the court. I was elected by party members. I was ahead by nearly 150 votes over my next rival.
All right, so let's assume that there is a changing of the guard, the ABC, as new leadership is in play. Would that mean you can become Prime Minister?
Yes, the word is can. But remember, for now, I'm not in Parliament. You have a process. Comrades in Parliament, and they have already designated one of our members to take over if the current Prime Minister should step down.
Who's that going to be?
Mr. Sam Rapapa.
All right, so you've got other bigger issues. Apart from your own internal ramblings, there is this stress that forced SADC to come in the country. Are we seeing a resolution of that now? We've seen ex-Deputy Chief Justice Moseneke hard at work in your country. Is that going to be a thing of the past, do you feel?
What does this tell you? Failure of leadership. SADC has been in Lesotho since 2014, trying to mediate our problems, pushing on us to come out with constitutional reforms. That process has hardly taken off as we speak. And that is why President Ramaphosa was there to try to push us to have a legislation that would try to ring-fence that process should anything happen in the political landscape.
All right, we've seen voices coming from royalty recently as well, comments about some of the ways that government is being run, which must be a concern to you. And also, we hear that the First Lady is seen to be running things in the kingdom, perhaps being very influential in key government and party decisions. Is that true?
I don't want to comment on that, and I'll tell you why. It is because since 2 days ago, there are very delicate talks that are happening behind the scenes. And so should I make a comment, it might scoop at those talks.
All right, so you're saying that there is something that needs to be smoothed out or put right?
I already indicated to you that we have been engaged in talks all the way from February, and we will do everything in the book to ensure that we do find some solution to these challenges.
All right, Professor Mahao, we certainly wish you all the best of luck, all the Basotho, with the days ahead, and that you come to some peaceful and meaningful and sustainable resolution to some of your challenges. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks so much indeed.
Thank you
so much. I really appreciate it.